Stardew Valley is a game in which wherever you go, there's always something for you to do. Let's limit that to just my farm. The farm that I end up picking will determine how the rest of this challenge plays out. So to get a little bit of everything, I think the Four Corners farm is gonna be my best option. It has a quarry for ores, a pond for fishing, and a ton of land for farming. Now I just need to make 1 million gold without leaving my farm. Well, kinda. Quick disclaimer, I ended up deciding that I can leave my farm once a month. I know, I cheated. In my defense, I think that having multiple ways to make money is a much interesting video, and trust me, I'm still gonna have the challenges of not leaving my farm. But with that out the way, we can now start the challenge. Once I finally had the farm to my name, I grabbed the seeds that Lewis left me, and these 15 seeds would have to last me throughout the entire spring. But before I could get these seeds in the ground, I needed to find a place I could plant them. There we go, that's a little bit better. I didn't want to waste all the seeds in one place, so I ended up only planting 5 of them. I would later come back and realize that that's just kind of stupid, and I would plant the rest of them. Next on the to-do list, I wanted to make sure that I accidentally didn't walk out of my farm before the 1st of summer. So I placed gates in front of all the entrances to make sure that no life could cross my path. Spoiler, this was kind of irrelevant because NPCs would just walk right through them and end up destroying them. Well, day 1 of spring is as interesting as it gets. Do y'all want to see how the rest of this spring month looked for me? Here we are, the last day of spring, and I almost made 7,000 gold just from chopping trees and selling resources. Summer is finally here and I can leave my farm for the first time. Being locked up for that whole month, I've had a lot of time to think about what I'm gonna do with this day. And it all started with me heading to the beach to go see Willie. He gave me a bamboo fishing rod for free, but because of my little fishing experience, I ended up spending 25 extra gold and I bought the training rod. And the rest of my money, I spent it on almost 90 blueberry seeds. And hopefully these 90 seeds will make me my money back and some, and who knows, maybe even put me over the 100,000 mark. To maximize my earnings per seed, I need to put fertilizer in the soil before I plant the seeds. Because I spent my first month just chopping trees, I had an abundance of sap. And with this sap, I could use it to turn it into fertilizer. Fertilizer in basic terms makes it so that when your crops are ready to harvest, they can be in silver or even gold rarity. And better rarity crops equals more money in my pockets. Now let me show you my routine for the next 28 days of summer. I would wake up and just water my blueberries, and any leftover energy I had, I would end up using it on fishing. I would do this every day without fail because while my blueberries were growing, I was earning money fishing. Another cool thing about fishing is that sometimes you can get treasure. And if you're lucky, the treasure can include iron or gold ores, but most of the time it's just garbage. And then it finally happened. My blueberries were ready to harvest, and it gave me my biggest haul yet. I made over 14,000 in one day. That is more than double what I bought the seeds for. And I think it's safe to say that spending 6,000 on seeds was well worth it. But besides that, it's back to the same old routine. It's the first day of fall, and you know what that means. I get to be a part of society for 20 hours. And the first thing I did with my freedom is I went to Willie and I got the new fishing rod. The rod I ended up going with was the iridium rod because of its 2 special traits. 1, it would allow me to use bait so I could catch fish quicker. And 2, I could attach lures like the magnetic lure or even the cork lure. Next, I was off to the blacksmith to open up all the goodies I caught while I was fishing. I also spent a good chunk of my money on copper and iron ore, because you know what they say, scared money don't make no money. Next, I was off to Robin and I spent a whopping 6,000 on a chicken coop. The only catch is I wouldn't be able to use the coop this month because building the coop takes 3 days, and I wouldn't be able to buy chickens until the coop is finished building. But mark my words, I will have chickens on my farm next month. And the final place that I went was to Pierre's shop, and I'm so glad I can finally purchase his bag upgrade, because if I get the message no inventory space one more time, I'm going to go insane. But besides that, the rest of my money I spent on cranberries, which are arguably my favorite crop in the game. After all these purchases, I'm in major financial poverty, so I need to get these plants planted and watered. And just like that, they're all planted. Oh, what are these sexy paths doing on my farm? Well, These are the newest addition to my farm. And let me just say, they make it look like my farm is worth $1 million. But on day 8, the cranberries were finally ready to be harvested. And oh boy, did they not disappoint. They gave me my biggest haul yet. Besides that lucrative money I was making, I also had another cool thing that I was doing. This machine right here is called a trash recycler, and its basic principle is to turn the trash that you get from fishing into materials. And I'm doing a lot of fishing, so this is perfect for me. Do you remember that iron ore that I bought on the first day? Well, I think I found the perfect place to use it. Crab pots are structures that can be placed in any body of water, and once a day, you can collect materials from them. This can be anywhere from animals like crawfish to just plain old trash. Besides those 2 new things, I think it's just best if I just expand my tree farm and my crab pot empire. But then I noticed my once lush farm with countless trees and wildlife was no longer existent. I almost have no more trees to chop down. I need to fix this ASAP if I want to continue to survive. So I found the perfect place that I can turn into my tree farm. And just like that, in a couple of weeks, I will have a nice lush forest again. It's the last day of my most profitable season yet, but with fall coming to an end, that means winter is just beginning. It's the first of the month and I get to leave isolation. And guess what I did? If you said go to the mines and be in isolation again, you would be correct. I ended up grinding the mines to get some stone, and then after that, I went to Robin and I bought even more stone. I also bought a silo from her, I can't forget that part. Next, I went to Clint and he processed all my geodes. Then I went back to my farm to look at the new chickens that I promised to get this month. I forgot the chickens. Yeah, I forgot the most important piece of the winter. Now that I have no crops or no animals in the winter, my income has come to a screeching halt. There is one thing I can do though. I can put this stone that I bought to good use. Just like that, we now have a path around the entire farm, and it even has lights. Now, I'm gonna be real with y'all for a second. Since I have no money coming in besides fishing, and doing this over and over is deteriorating my brain, I'm gonna be honest, I slept through most of winter. I know, grab your tomatoes and start booing me. It's the first of spring, but this time I'm 1 year older and I can finally leave that winter hell. The first thing I did was go to Marnie and get those chickens, so I made sure I didn't miss them again. But Marnie was nowhere to be seen, so I left and I would come back later. Next, I went to Pierre's, bought some seeds. Then I went to Robin's to buy a barn. And this barn might be the worst investment I made in this video because I didn't use it once. After that, I just waited in Marnie's house until she would hopefully come back and sell me some chickens. But she never did. And since I waited there all night, I missed the first day to plant my crops. So let's plant these right now. And there we go, all the plants are planted and watered. A few days later, I made the executive decision that this one time I could leave my farm. The reason is because Marnie is never at her stores on Mondays. So technically I would never be able to get any animals in the game. That's just a boring video. So I left this one time and bought the catalog and some chickens. This way when I would come back the following months, I wouldn't have to wait for her to be there. Let me give you my routine for spring year 2. I would wake up, water my crops, go to the chicken coop and steal all the eggs from the chickens. I would use my remaining energy just chopping trees. I've completely abandoned fishing. I was scrolling through the crafting menu and I realized that I've been skipping out on these 3 lucrative money making machines. These 3 items are the preserving jar, the keg, and the bee house. After realizing that I've been neglecting these 3 for way too long, I went full steam ahead getting these to max production. But because I don't have maple syrup for the bee house or oak resin for the kegs, I was left with the only one left, the preserving jar. Hold up, just look at this monstrosity right here. There's no real reason to show this, I just thought it was cool. I have a good amount of preserving jars and I'm happy with them, but I think it's time to move on to kegs because kegs outshine preserving jars in almost every way. And luckily for me, my trees have finally matured and I am now producing oak resin. And with that, let's begin the keg empire. Before I start this montage, it's the first of the month again. And I did the usual, I bought some seeds, bought some ores, upgraded my coop, and went mining. Okay, now back to this epic keg montage. And there we go. It's not an insane amount of kegs and I'll probably have to come back to upgrade and expand it later, but 18 kegs it's a good amount. But while I've been doing my keg business, I've also been working on a little something in the background. But before I show y'all know what time it is. It's the first of the month and I did the exact same thing, except this time I gave Clint my axe to upgrade. Doing this means I won't be able to use my axe the entire month, but I've been prepping for this. I've been stockpiling my wood to hopefully last me throughout the summer. I also gave into the dark side, as some people would say. I bought the Joja membership. You gotta hear me out though, I have more cash than I even know what to do with, so spending this on Joja wouldn't... I have no shame in this. Do y'all remember when I said I've been working on something in the background? Well, here it is. It's the start of my beehive empire, and I'm not gonna lie, beehives are kinda cracked. Normal beehives aren't that much to talk about because their honey only sells for 140 gold. And if I put one flower next to them, the honey can sell up to 952 gold. That is over a 500% increase, and with 20 beehives, that is almost 19,000 in 4 days. But besides this, I couldn't do much else besides sleep, harvest, walk around, and repeat. And just like that, it's winter again, and I didn't spend my money on much. The one thing I bought was the greenhouse upgrade from Joja, and I really wish I committed and bought the 18 peach trees, but I didn't commit. I don't know why, I just didn't. So now I get to spend the winter just chopping trees. Because I got my upgraded axe back, I can now get hardwood. But besides this one busy day, the winter is going to be depressing as ever, so let's just skip right to the good stuff. Spring is here for the 3rd time. But the only thing different I did this time was I bought 18 peach trees, potatoes, and the bus upgrade from Joja. Let's get these crops down and finish this challenge because we are so close. We only need a little over 140,000 left. And there we go, the potatoes are now planted. Now, let's just get these trees in the greenhouse. And there we go, the trees are now down. The only thing left in the greenhouse is putting crops in the middle. And for that, I'm gonna use these leftover blueberry seeds that I have, but I only have 8 seeds, so I'm gonna have to use this little machine over here. The seed maker will turn crops into a varying amount of seeds. But for now, I just need to wait for my blueberries to mature and then we could use it. While I waited for those, I collected my wine and honey. And I forgot to tell y'all, I made a crucial mistake with my honey. I forgot to buy the spring flower from Pierre's. So yeah, my profits on my honey just went way down. And thankfully in my chest, I have wild flower seeds that can hopefully do the trick. Another mistake I made this season was I only bought enough potatoes for one harvest. So after this harvest, my farm is left empty, just doing nothing. This was my worst planned month by far, but it is what it is. My blueberries are finally matured and I can put this seed machine to use. I got 36 more seeds and put them in the greenhouse. And I would continue to do this until I had a full greenhouse. Well, it's the last day of spring, so let me harvest everything and see how close we are to 1 million. We almost got it. We're 17,000 off, so I don't think you'll care about what I'm buying for summer 3. But a few days later, after harvesting my peach trees, we hit 1,000,000 gold without leaving the farm. Well, technically we left the farm once a month, which ended up only being 9 times, which isn't too shabby. But 1,000,000 gold is just the tip of the iceberg. If I get 100 likes, I'll go for 10,000,000 gold and try to buy the golden clock. If you enjoyed this video and made it to the end, you should subscribe because I do challenges like this pretty often and I think you like them.